This is the first lesson in a series of lessons about chords. How to play chords on the keyboard and how to work them out. So first of all, let's define the word chord. In music, a chord is a group of notes all sounding at the same time. On the keyboard, it means a group of different keys all played at the same time. So we're going to learn how to play triads. That's the word we give to a group of three notes together forming a chord. So before we go any further, it's going to be quite important that you know the notes on the keyboard. You know what they're all called. If you're a little unsure, it's worth taking a bit of time to get more sure about that. Okay, so we've got the white keys from A to G, and the black keys, which are called either sharp or flat. I'll talk very quickly about that. This is the note D, the white key in between the two black keys. D sharp is the black key to the right of D. D flat is the black key to the left of D. So on the keyboard, sharp means to the right, flat means to the left. Okay, so hopefully you've got all of that under your belt and we can press on. So let's talk about technique. I'm going to give you two different options of finger combinations, and I'm going to talk about some options that I'd rather not see as well, which I often do see. So I'm going to just kind of anticipate that and encourage you to do proper technique from the very start. We'll be doing both hands because it's a useful skill to be able to play chords with either hand. So first shape we're going to do is 1, 3, 5. So we're going to do the following pattern. We're going to start with C, thumb on C, gap, 3 on E, gap, 5 on G. That's the chord of C major. So notice back of the hand should be flat, fingers should be curled. Fingers that I'm not playing can be out of the way, whichever way you like. 1, 3, 5 like that. That's a very useful shape to get to know. And a good thing to do to practice it is to start wherever you like. I'm going to start on C and I'm going to go up. When I say up, by the way, I always mean up in pitch, which means to the right on the keyboard. I'm going to go up all the way till I get to the next C. And back down again. Now my hand is moving in a very fixed position. My fingers aren't going further apart or closer together. My hand's like a claw, just bouncing up and down. I'm going to do the same with my left hand, starting likewise with my thumb on C, gap, finger, 1, 3, 5. And so this time I'm going to go down to the left and back up. There we go. So the other alternative, one that I use quite often myself, is 1, 2, 4. So gap between my thumb and my next finger, my index, and then another gap and finger 4 plays the third and final note. Left hand, same thing. So it's worth just doing that as an exercise to get used to that. And if you find that your hand is going down like this or to the side, just try and be aware of that and keep it flat. If you imagine that you're going to put a coin, like a 10-pence piece, on the back of your hand, and it should not fall off either that way, any way at all. All right. You don't have to actually do it, but it's worth just having it in your mind as a thought. Right. So let's now talk about, I said some ways that I'd rather you didn't do. So let me show two examples that I see quite a lot that I absolutely discourage. 1, 2, 3. Notice already I'm doing that and a couple of things have happened. These fingers have disappeared. Now, we human beings, we've got 5 fingers in each hand, and to be a good keyboard player, you need to use all of them, not just the 3 strong ones. The other thing that's happening is my hand is turned at an angle. You always want, when you're playing the keyboard, as much as possible for your fingers to be pointing straight along the length of the keys. Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes they do have to go at an angle, but You want to try always to maintain that shape as much as you can. Doing that immediately turns it sideways. So that's not good. This can also happen. People go really crazy sideways like that. I call that playing like a crab. It's like you've got your crab claws there. So I'd rather not see that. The other one that I like even less is this. And I call that playing like a pigeon. Look, no thumbs. Your thumb is the most valuable digit that you've got in keyboard land. It's the most versatile and useful. If you drop it out, that's really not good technique. I've seen that lots of times. Please don't do that. So, always your thumb, and either 3 and 5 or 2 and 4. Now, later in this series, we'll be doing different shapes, but for now, the shape we will be playing is that same shape, note, gap, note, gap, note. Okay? Sometimes it'll be all white keys, sometimes it'll be all black keys, and very often it'll be a combination of the two, white and black keys together. So, let's now begin talking about the different chord types. There are many different types of chords, but they fall into two main categories, major and minor. So, we're going to start by looking at a major chord and how to build it up. So, I'm going to teach you how to play the chord of C major, first of all, and then from that, I'm going to teach you how you can use that knowledge to play any major chord on the keyboard. So, C major, I've got 3 notes I need to find. The first one I'm given already, it's C. It's in the title, and that's called the root note. The root note of the chord C major is C. If the chord I was doing, for example, was an F sharp major, you have to make sure you hear that word sharp. F sharp is this key here. F, F sharp. All right, so F sharp major, the root note is F sharp, not F. Look out for that. Right, let's get back to C major. C. Now, I'm going to be using the word semitone quite a lot. So, what is a semitone? Semitone is the shortest distance between 2 notes. So, from C, going up 1 semitone, that's my note there. C sharp. Okay? If I wanted to go down 1 semitone from C, it's that note there, B. So, more often than not, going 1 semitone is to go from a white key to a black key or from a black key to a white key. But we have these 2 areas here where there are 2 white keys next to each other, no black key in between. E to F, B to C. So look out for that. So we're going to be counting semitones, and this is what we shall do. To make up a major chord, you have the root note, in this case with C. The next note is 4 semitones above. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my next note there, E. And my third and final note is a further 3 semitones up from there. 1, 2, 3. That's my chord of C major. Now you see me playing that already, and you might think, well, I don't need to work that out. And that might be true. When you've learned a chord, you've worked it out, and you know that you've got the right 3 notes, you might come across that chord again sometime later on, and you don't have to work it out. And that's great. It's in a way, it's kind of like learning a new language. If you've learned a word, and you have to use that word later on, you don't have to look it up. You already know it. Likewise with chords. So C major are the notes C, E, and G, played like that, or played like that. Okay, so let's just transfer that knowledge. I'll remind you what we did. We found the root note. The next note was 4 semitones above, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the final note was 3 more, 1, 2, 3. Boom. So let me choose another chord. I mentioned F sharp as another example before, so there's F sharp. Next note is 4 semitones above. So counting from there, I'm going to hang on to that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my final one, 1, 2, 3. That is my chord, F sharp major. Fingers 1, 3, 5, or fingers 1, 2, 4. So, you should now, if you've got that, be able to play 12 different major chords because there are 12 different notes. Okay, so the other category is a minor chord. Now, our technique is going to be very, very similar. It's just we're going to reverse the numbers. So C minor, C, again, we've got that same root note C. This time for a minor chord, the next note is found 3 semitones above. 1, 2, 3. There it is there. And the final one is a further 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is a C minor. So, the difference between a major chord and a minor chord is all about what's known as the third. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the scale of C. Third is the note E, but in a minor scale, that's called a minor third, E flat. So the difference in the sound, this is a major chord, this is a minor chord. So just listen to those two again. We often define the difference in the sound as a major chord is a more happy sound and a minor chord is a more sad sound. It's a good kind of general way to understand it. It's not 100% true. There are lots of very happy pieces of music that involve minor chords. But as a general rule, if you hear something, here's another random one. Is that more happy or more sad? It's kind of sad, isn't it? Compared to that sound, which is major. More happy. So let's just rewind. Minor chord, root note, 3 semitones, dum, 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 then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try it with a different one. Let's choose E flat. There's E, so E flat is this one. E flat minor. Root note is E flat. What's my next one? 3 semitones. 1, 2, 3. And then a further 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is E flat minor. So let's just do it with the left hand to be equal. Let me choose another random note. What have we got? A. So I'll do A major. Now in music, the convention is this. If you say a chord is called A, for example, then the assumption is that's A major. If I wanted A minor, I would have to say the word minor. It's the same when it's written out. If you see in music a chord symbol that says a big A, capital A with a little m, that means A minor. If it's just A, nothing else, that means major. That's a musical convention. It's worth knowing about. So we're going to do A major. So there's my A. My next one, 4 semitones up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a further 3. 1, 2, 3. A major. Let's do A flat minor. A flat. So A is here. A flat is, well done, the black key to the left of A. This one. Minor chord. My next one is found 3 semitones above. 1, 2, 3. And then the final one is a further 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A flat minor. So more lessons will follow about more variations and how to play different versions of those chords. But to start with, if you followed this lesson, you can now play 24 different chords. That's any major chord in its root position and also any minor chord. All right. So I'll be giving some practical examples of how this can be used. For me, being able to play chords and working out how to find the notes involved in chords is one of the most important parts of my musical development. And if you ever see or hear me play, it's almost always all based around chords. So it's a really, really useful skill in your journey to learning keyboards. So I hope you're finding this useful. I'll be back later with some more. All right, bye for now.